Jack Thompson's hand froze on the throttle when he saw the kid barefoot, bleeding, screaming at 8 leather-clad strangers like his life depended on it. The boy's words cut through the engine noise. "My mom won't wake up." Jack had buried 3 brothers, survived 2 tours in hell, and walked away from fights that should have killed him. But the raw terror in that child's eyes, that stopped him cold. What they found 1 mile down that dirt road would break them all and somehow put them back together. Before we ride into this story, hit that subscribe button right now and stay with me until the very end. Drop a comment with your city name so I can see how far this reaches. You won't believe what happens next. "Jack, we stopping or what?" Vince's voice crackled through the comm. Jack Thompson stared at the kid standing 40 yards off Highway 50. 7 years old maybe, barefoot, crying, alone. Jack raised his fist. Universal signal. 7 Harleys went silent. Mister, please." The boy stumbled forward, nearly collapsing. His feet left blood smears on the asphalt. Tommy Ghost was already off his bike. "He's gonna pass out." "Hold!" Jack's voice was steel. Something felt wrong. Not dangerous. Worse. The boy reached them, chest heaving. "Please, you gotta follow me. My mom won't wake up. I've been shaking her, but she won't open her eyes. And my sister's hiding, and I don't know what to do." He dissolved into sobs. Jack felt something crack inside. The same crack from 3 years ago, when his daughter said she never wanted to see him again. "How far, son?" The boy pointed at trees. "Maybe a mile. I heard your bikes and I just ran. Please, please help us." Vince moved forward. "Kid, is your mom breathing?" I think so, but she's so cold, and she won't wake up no matter what I do." Jack looked at Bear. Bear looked at the others. Nobody spoke, but everyone understood. "What's your name?" Jack asked. "Marcus." "All right, Marcus, climb on. We're following you." Marcus's eyes went wide. "Really? Really?" The kid scrambled onto Jack's bike, small arms wrapping around his waist. He was shaking so hard Jack could feel it through leather. "Hold tight. You're safe now. You promise?" Jack didn't answer. He'd broken too many promises. They rode single file down a dirt path that looked abandoned 20 years ago. Marcus's grip tightened every time they hit a pothole. "Just a little more," Marcus whispered. "Just a little more." Then the house appeared. Bear's voice came through. "Jack, nobody lives like this." "Somebody does." The farmhouse was dying, roof caving, windows boarded. A pickup truck sat on blocks, weeds growing through the frame. No lights, no sound, nothing. "Mom's inside," Marcus said. "Please hurry." Jack killed his engine. The silence felt like a grave. They approached like soldiers. Vince and Bear took point. The front door swung open before they reached it. The smell hit first. Not death, neglect. The kind that comes when people stop fighting because fighting takes energy they don't have. Tommy found a switch. Nothing. "Power's out." His flashlight swept across a room that looked like hope had given up. And on a couch covered with a thin blanket. "I got her." Vince moved fast. Jack held Marcus back. "Stay here." "But Mom." "Stay. Here." The woman was maybe 35 but looked ancient, pale, sunken, barely breathing. Vince checked her pulse, pulled back her eyelids. She's alive, dehydrated, malnourished. Could be shock, could be a dozen things. He looked up. "Hospital. Now." "No!" Marcus screamed. "No hospital. They'll take us away. They always take kids away." Bear knelt down. All 6'5" of him somehow looked gentle. "Marcus, your mom needs..." "Then help her here." "You said you'd help." Jack's jaw tightened. He knew exactly what happened when CPS showed up to places like this. The system wasn't built to keep families together. "Can you stabilize her here?" Jack asked. Vince hesitated. "Maybe, if I had supplies." "But Jack..." "Yes or no?" Yeah, for tonight. Then do it. Tommy, get his kit. Bear, clear the house. Everyone else perimeter. Nobody in or out. They moved like the soldiers they used to be. Marcus grabbed Jack's hand. You're really staying. I gave my word. My dad gave words too. Then he left. That crack in Jack's chest widened. Where's your sister? Leia's room. She won't come out. Jack followed Marcus down a hallway that revealed new horrors with every step. Not violence. Poverty. The kind that grinds people into dust. No food in the kitchen except crackers. No hot water in the bathroom. Mattresses on floors with nothing else. Marcus stopped at a door covered in faded princess stickers. Leia, it's me. These men are going to help Mom. Silence. Jack pushed the door open. Under the bed, two eyes reflected light like a terrified animal. Hey there, Jack kept his voice low. I'm Jack. I'm here to help. The eyes blinked, didn't move. Marcus crawled under, whispered. A few minutes later, he emerged pulling a tiny girl behind him, 5 years old. Nightgown more holes than fabric, hair matted, face streaked with tears. She didn't make a sound. Leia doesn't talk much, Marcus said quietly. Not since Dad left. Rage built in Jack's gut, the kind he used to handle with fists. Jack, Bear's voice echoed. You need to see this. Jack found Bear in a home office drowning in papers, bills, past due notices, eviction warnings, medical bills that would bankrupt a millionaire, and prescription bottles, empty, all of them. She's diabetic, Bear said. These are 3 months old. No refills. Jack picked one up. How much does insulin cost? $300-400 a vial. She needs at least 2 a month. Jesus Christ. There's more. Bear held up a bank statement. Overdrawn for weeks. Jack scanned the papers. Layoff notice. Unemployment denial. Food stamp rejection. America eating its own. Where's the father? Marcus said he left. Bear pointed at a photo on the wall. Happy family, 2 years ago. The father had military tattoos visible. Army. Looks like it. Then where's his benefits? Jack didn't need to answer. He'd seen this before. Guys come home broken, can't adjust, self-destruct. Take their families down with them. Tommy appeared. Vince got an IV going. She's stable. But he says 12 hours max before she needs real help. I know. So what do we do? Jack looked at the bills, the notices, the evidence of a system that failed. We stay. Bear's eyebrows shot up. Stay. Jack, we got jobs. This ain't what our problem. Jack's voice went hard. That kid ran a mile barefoot to stop strangers because he had nobody else. And you want to tell him tough luck? Bear raised his hands. I ain't saying that. I'm saying we need a plan. The plan is we stay. Tonight. Then we figure out tomorrow. Ray stuck his head in. Jack, problem. Rain's coming. Hard. This roof won't hold. Jack closed his eyes. Of course. Ray shotgun. Carlos, patch what you can. Diego, Tommy near a store. Food, water, medical supplies, tarps. Bear, you're with me. We make this house livable for 1 night. 1 night, Bear asked. 1 night at a time. That's all we can promise. The next 3 hours were chaos. Diego and Tommy returned with $400 of supplies on Diego's maxed credit card. Carlos and Shotgun patched the roof with tarps and hope. Ray got a generator running. Bear made the kitchen functional. Jack sat with Marcus and Leia while Vince worked on their mother. What's your mom's name? Shauna Williams. Your dad? Marcus's face went dark. Derek. When'd he leave? 5 days, maybe 6. Time gets weird when you're scared. Jack understood. Combat did that. He say where he was going. Said he'd get money. Said we'd be fine. But Mom got sick and he didn't come back and I tried to take care of Leia, but I'm just a kid and I didn't know. His voice broke. Jack squeezed his shoulder. You saved your mom. You saved your sister. You did what most grown men couldn't. Then why am I so scared? Because being brave don't mean you're not scared. It means you do it anyway. Leia suddenly grabbed Jack's other hand. Her grip was iron for someone so small. She looked up with eyes that had seen too much. You staying, she whispered. First words Jack had heard from her. Yeah, sweetheart, we're staying. Promise. Jack looked at this little girl, trusting him with everything. I promise. Leia leaned against him. Just like that. Like he was somebody worth trusting. Jack Thompson, ex-Marine, ex-husband, ex-father, president of a club nobody respected, felt something he hadn't felt in years. Purpose. Vince emerged, wiping sweat. She's stable, responsive. She's asking for her kids. Marcus bolted. Can I see her? Both of you. Easy though, she's weak. They disappeared. Vince sat next to Jack. This is bad. I know. No, really bad. Untreated diabetes, malnutrition, organ stress. She needs a hospital, not a medic with a field kit. Hospital means CPS takes the kids. And if we don't, she might die. Jack rubbed his face. How long can you keep her stable? Tonight, tomorrow, maybe 2 days if we're lucky. Then we figure it out. Jack. I said we'll figure it out. Vince stood. You're playing God, brother. I'm trying to help a family. By breaking how many laws? As many as it takes. Vince shook his head but smiled. Stubborn son of a bitch. So I've been told. Rain started at midnight. Hard. Mean. Desert trying to wash away sins. Buckets caught leaks. They called it good enough. Iron Riders took shifts. 2 awake always. Jack didn't sleep. He watched Shauna breathe, watched the kids sleep curled together with Bear's donated blanket. Around 2 a.m., Shauna's eyes opened. Jack leaned forward. Mrs. Williams. Her voice was broken glass. Where are my babies? Safe. Right here. Sleeping. She tried to sit. Failed. Who are you? Jack Thompson. Me and my crew. Bikers. Your son found us on the highway. Said you wouldn't wake up. Tears rolled down her face. Oh God. I'm so sorry. I tried so hard, but I couldn't. You got nothing to apologize for. I failed them. No, ma'am. You're still breathing. Still fighting. That ain't failure. She looked at him with eyes carrying the weight of 1,000 bad decisions and worse luck. Why are you helping? You don't know us. Jack didn't have a good answer, so he told the truth. Because your son asked. And because I got a daughter I haven't seen in 3 years. Maybe if I help your kid, some stranger somewhere helps mine if she needs it. Shauna closed her eyes. Derek left. My husband, 5 days ago. He ain't coming back. You don't know. Yes, I do. She opened her eyes. He said the pressure was too much. The bills, the poverty, the failure. He said he couldn't watch us starve so he'd get money. But I know what that means. Bottle, needle, another woman. He's gone. Jack had been Derek Williams once. He knew exactly what that looked like. You got family. Parents dead. His parents won't talk to us since his discharge. We're alone. She looked at her children. Been alone a long time. Rain pounded harder. When sun comes up, you'll leave, Shauna whispered. Someone will call child services. They'll take my babies. I'll never see them again. That won't happen. Yes, it will. I can't protect them. Can't feed them. I'm a failure as a mother. Stop. Jack's voice was firm. You're not a failure. The system failed you. Your husband failed you. The economy failed you. You're one woman surviving. Your kids are alive because of you. For how long? Jack didn't answer. They sat in silence. Rain, breathing, impossible choices. Why did God send bikers instead of angels? Shauna asked. Jack almost laughed. Maybe we're the same thing, just uglier. Will you stay until morning so they don't wake up alone? We're not leaving. Not until we figure out how to keep your family together. She studied his face. You can't fix this. Nobody can. Watch me." Something shifted in her expression. Not hope, but maybe the absence of total despair. "Thank you." She slept. Jack sat another hour watching this broken family breathe, wondering what he'd just promised. Bear appeared. "Jack, we need to talk." Outside, rain hammering dirt. "Called a PI, buddy," Bear said. "Derek Williams has warrants. Unpaid child support from a previous marriage, DUI, assault. He can't come back." Jesus. Worse, VA denied his disability claim. Twice. Said PTSD wasn't service-connected. No benefits. No health care. Nothing. Jack felt rage building. System chewed him up, spit him out, kicked him when he was down. Pretty much. And his family pays for it. Yeah. Jack stared at Rain. "We can't let CPS take these kids." "I know. But we can't squat here forever." "I know that too." "So, what do we do?" Bear was quiet. Then, "You really want to know?" "Always." "I think we're 8 broken men who spent a decade trying to find something worth living for. Maybe this is it. This family. This impossible situation. Maybe this is our shot at redemption." "Redemption don't pay bills." "No, but it pays something more important." Jack looked at his sergeant-at-arms, his brother. "You in till the wheels fall off. This'll get messy. Everything worth doing is." They shook hands, pact sealed in rain and desperation. Sun came up slow, desert sun, the kind that exposed everything. Marcus found Jack on the porch first. "You're still here. Told you we would be. People lie. Not me. Not about this." Marcus sat next to him, feet bandaged now. "What happens now? Now we make breakfast, then figure out next steps. They gonna take us away?" Jack wanted to lie, but Marcus deserved truth. "Maybe, but if they try, they gotta go through 8 bikers first. We don't go down easy." Marcus looked up. "Why are you doing this?" "You asked for help. Lots of people drive by. We're not lots of people." "What are you then?" Jack thought about who the Iron Riders used to be, who they could be. We're the ones who stopped. Inside, the others were waking. Tommy making coffee, Diego and Carlos cooking eggs, Ray fixing a window, shotgun reinforcing porch steps. Almost normal, almost home. Shauna came out leaning on Vince. Looked better, still weak, but alive. "Morning." The bikers nodded. Respect. She looked at these strangers in leather who smelled like oil and cigarettes and started crying. "I don't understand. Why are you still here?" Jack stood. "Because your son asked us to follow him home, and we don't leave families behind. I can't pay you. I can't." "Nobody asked you to." "Then what do you want?" Jack walked over, looked her in the eyes. "We want to help. No strings, no catch, just help. People don't do that." "We do." Leia appeared holding her rabbit, walked straight to Bear and raised her arms. Bear picked her up like she weighed nothing. "Hey there, little bit," Leia whispered in his ear. Bear smiled. A real smile. "Yeah, sweetheart. We're staying for breakfast." They ate together, crowded around a table built for 4, eggs and toast and coffee. Simple, but it felt like communion. Marcus watched the bikers like they might disappear, like this was a dream. Shauna picked at her food. "When's child services coming?" "They're not," Jack said. "Not unless we call them. But the house, the conditions. Who's gonna report it? Us?" Jack shook his head. "We're not calling anybody. Not today." "You can't just stay. You have lives," Vince spoke up. "Ma'am, with respect, this is more alive than most of us felt in years." Tommy nodded. "I got an apartment with a couch and a TV. That ain't living. This helping you, this matters." Diego raised his coffee. "To things that matter." The others raised theirs. "To things that matter." Shauna covered her face and sobbed. Marcus reached for Jack's hand under the table, squeezed tight. And Jack Thompson, ex-Marine, ex-husband, ex-father, president of a club that forgot what brotherhood meant, felt the crack in his chest start to heal. Just a little, just enough to keep going. Then the sound of tires on gravel cut through the morning. Everyone froze. Jack moved to the window. A white sedan was pulling up the driveway. Government plates. "Vince," Jack said quietly, "get Shauna to the bedroom. Now." "Jack. Now." Marcus's face went white. "Is that them? Is that the people who take kids?" The car door opened. A woman stepped out. 40-something, professional clothes, clipboard in hand. She looked at the 8 motorcycles parked in the yard, then at the house, then back at the bikes. She walked toward the porch like she owned it. Jack stepped outside, placed himself between her and the door. "Help you with something, ma'am?" The woman stopped, looked him up and down, took in the leather vest, the tattoos, the 8 bikers now standing behind him. "I'm Karen Miller, Child Protective Services." She held up a badge. "We received a call about this address. Welfare check on 2 minors." Jack's blood went cold. "Who called?" "That's confidential. Now if you'll step aside." "No, ma'am. I don't think I will." Karen's eyes narrowed. "Sir, I have legal authority to enter this residence and assess the welfare of any children present. If you obstruct me, I will call the sheriff. And then everyone here goes in cuffs. Your choice." Behind Jack, Bear shifted his weight. "Ready." But Jack raised a hand. "Stop." "The children are fine," Jack said. "They're with their mother. They're fed. They're safe. They're loved." "Then you won't mind me verifying that?" "Actually, ma'am, I do mind. Because the second you walk through that door, you're going to see poverty. And you're going to mistake poverty for neglect. And you're going to rip this family apart because that's what the system does." Karen's face softened. Just a fraction. "Mr. Thompson?" "Jack Thompson." "Mr. Thompson, I understand you think you're helping, but if there are children in danger, they were in danger last night when their mother collapsed and they had nobody. But they're not in danger now because we stayed. We helped. We're still helping." "And who exactly are you?" "We're the Iron Riders Motorcycle Club." Karen's expression changed. "A motorcycle club?" "Yes, ma'am." "With how many members here?" 8. "And you're, what? Playing house with a family you don't know." "We're keeping them together." Karen looked at him for a long moment. Then she glanced at the house, at the patched roof, the fixed steps, the generator humming. "I need to see the children," she said. "That's non-negotiable. But..." She paused. "But maybe we can do this without making it worse, if you cooperate." Jack turned to the door. "Marcus, Leia, come out here, please." The door opened slowly. Marcus appeared first, holding Leia's hand. Both looked terrified. Karen knelt down. "Hi there, I'm Karen. I'm here to make sure you're okay. Are you okay?" Marcus looked at Jack. Jack nodded. "We're okay," Marcus said quietly. "Are you being hurt by anyone?" "No." "Are you scared?" Marcus hesitated. "I was scared when Mom wouldn't wake up. But then Jack came. And now I'm not scared anymore." Leia whispered something. Karen leaned closer. "What's that, sweetie?" "She said the bikers are our friends," Marcus translated. Karen stood up, looked at Jack, at the other riders, at the house that was still falling apart, but somehow felt more like a home than it did yesterday. "I need to see the mother," Karen said. "She's resting," Jack said. "She was severely dehydrated, malnourished, but she's stable now." "Who treated her?" Vince stepped forward. "I did, ma'am. Former Army medic, 82nd Airborne, 3 tours." Karen studied him. "She needs a hospital." "Yes, ma'am, but if she goes to a hospital, you think I'll take the kids?" "Yes, ma'am." Karen sighed, looked at her clipboard, looked at the kids. looked at 8 bikers who probably had more arrest records than college degrees between them. "This is the most irregular situation I've encountered in 15 years, she said. Nobody spoke. "But," Karen continued, "but I've also seen what happens when we remove kids unnecessarily. The trauma, the system failures, the families that never recover." Jack felt something shift. Not victory, but maybe possibility. "What I'm going to do," Karen said carefully, "is this. I'm going to document that the children are currently safe. I'm going to require the mother see a doctor within 48 hours, and I'm going to come back in 1 week. If things have improved, we continue. If not," she didn't finish. "What about background checks?" Bear asked. "On us." Karen looked at him. "You want me to run background checks on 8 bikers? I guarantee what I find won't make my report look better." "So why not?" "Because..." Karen looked at Marcus and Leia. "Because these kids aren't scared. They're not hurt. They're not crying. They're standing here defending you. And in my experience, kids know who's safe and who's not better than any background check." She pulled out a business card, handed it to Jack. "My direct number. Any problems, you call me. Not 911, me. Understand?" "Yes, ma'am." "And Mr. Thompson, don't make me regret this." "No, ma'am." Karen walked back to her car, paused with her hand on the door. 1 week. Make it count." She drove away. Nobody moved for a full minute. Then Marcus started crying. Relief. Fear. Everything at once. Jack picked him up. Just picked him up like he was Jack's own kid. "We got 1 week," Jack said to the others. "We make this house livable. We get Shauna healthy. We show that social worker this family deserves to stay together." "And if we can't?" Tommy asked. Jack looked at Marcus, at Leia, at Shauna standing in the doorway looking like she'd just witnessed a miracle. "Then we fight. But we got 1 week before we have to, so let's not waste it." Bear clapped his hands. "All right. Ray shotgun, let's actually fix that roof. Carlos Diego, we need to address the plumbing. Tommy Ghost, you're on getting utilities reconnected. Jack and me, we're figuring out how to get this woman the medical care she needs without triggering the system." They scattered. Purpose. Mission. Brotherhood. Shauna approached Jack slowly. You just stood up to child services. For us." "Yes, ma'am." "Why?" Jack set Marcus down. Looked at this woman who'd been ground down by life but hadn't quit. "Because your kids asked us to follow them home," Jack said, "and because that means something." "But you don't know us. We're nothing to you." Jack thought about his daughter, the one he hadn't seen in 3 years, the one who'd stopped answering his calls, the one he'd failed. "Maybe you're everything to us," Jack said quietly. "We just didn't know it yet." Shauna broke down. Complete breakdown. The kind that comes when you've been holding it together for so long you forgot what letting go felt like. Leia hugged her mom. Marcus hugged them both. And 8 bikers who'd spent the last decade lost men who'd made every wrong choice possible, who'd hurt people, who'd given up on redemption, stood there watching this broken family start to heal. "We got 1 week," Bear said quietly to Jack. "Think we can pull it off." Jack watched Marcus wipe his mother's tears, watched Leia smile for the first time since they'd arrived, watched his brothers, his real brothers, attack problems with the same intensity they'd once attacked enemies. "Yeah," Jack said, "I think we can." But he didn't know what was coming. Didn't know that Derek Williams was already on his way back. Didn't know the fight that was about to start. Didn't know that saving this family would cost them everything. But for now, for this one perfect morning, they had hope. And sometimes hope is enough to start. The week started with hope. By day 3, hope was wearing thin. Jack the power company wants $800 before they'll reconnect. Tommy held up his phone like evidence of a crime. Cash. Up front. No payment plan. Jack was on the roof with Ray replacing shingles they'd bought with Bear's last credit card. Sweat poured down his back despite the morning chill. Tell them we'll have it by Friday. Will we? I don't know. But tell them anyway. Below, Carlos and Diego were working on the plumbing. Shauna sat on the porch with Leia, watching Marcus help shotgun paint the front steps. The kid had barely left Jack's side for 3 days. Like he was afraid if he blinked, the bikers would disappear. Vince came out of the house looking grim. "Jack, down here, now." Jack climbed down. His knees popped. He was getting too old for this. "What's wrong?" Vince pulled him aside. "Shauna's glucose levels are all over the place. The insulin I got from that clinic, it's not enough. She needs consistent medication, proper monitoring, dietary management. This Band-Aid approach is going to kill her. Can't she go to the ER, get stabilized?" "Sure, and the second they run her info, CPS gets flagged. Karen Miller shows up. Game over." Jack looked at Shauna on the porch. She'd gained a little weight, some color in her cheeks, but her hands still shook when she held her coffee. "What about that doctor you know, the one who works with homeless populations?" "Dr. Singh. I called her yesterday. She's in Reno until Friday. That's 2 days away, Jack. Can Shauna make it 2 days?" Vince's silence was the answer. "We keep her stable," Jack said. "Monitor her. If she crashes, we make a call then, not before. You're gambling with her life. I'm gambling that we can beat the clock. There's a difference." Vince walked away, shaking his head. Bear approached with a stack of papers. "Got the estimates for the roof repair. Real repair, not our patch job. $4,500. Jesus. Windows need replacing, another $2,000. Plumbing's held together with rust and prayers. $3,000 minimum. And that's just to make this place livable. We're not even talking about furniture, appliances, or the 12 months of back rent Shauna owes." Jack did the math. Over $10,000. The Iron Riders had maybe $1,500 between all of them. "We'll figure it out." "How?" "I don't know yet." "Jack." I said we'll figure it out. Bear studied him. "You know this is impossible, right? We can't save them. We're 8 broke bikers with criminal records playing hero. The system's gonna crush us." "Maybe." "Definitely." Jack looked at Marcus painting steps with concentration that would shame a professional. The kid was humming. Actually humming. First time Jack had heard him make a happy sound. "I don't care," Jack said quietly. "Even if we fail, at least we tried. That's more than most people do." Trying don't keep families together. No, but giving up guarantees they fall apart. A truck engine rumbled in the distance. Everyone stopped working. "That's not Karen Miller," Tommy said. "Wrong day." The truck got louder, closer. Jack's hand instinctively went to his belt. Old habits. He wasn't carrying. Hadn't carried in 5 years. Marcus dropped his paintbrush. "That's Dad's truck." Shauna went white. "No, no, no, no." The truck appeared through the trees. Rusted Ford F-150, missing a bumper. Looked like it had been through a war. It skidded to a stop in the yard, throwing gravel. The driver's door opened. Derek Williams stepped out. He was big. 6'2", maybe 220. Army tattoos visible on both forearms. But the muscle had gone soft. His face was bloated, eyes bloodshot. He moved like someone who'd been awake for 3 days straight on the wrong kind of fuel. "The hell is this?" Derek's voice was slurred. "The hell are all these bikes doing at my house?" Jack stepped forward, kept his voice calm. "Mr. Williams, I'm Jack Thompson. We've been helping your family while you were gone." Derek squinted at him. "Helping that what you call it bunch of bikers moving in on my wife? It's not like that." "Then what's it like?" Derek stumbled, caught himself. Definitely drunk. Maybe high. "Huh. What's it like when I come home and find my property full of strangers?" Shauna stood up. "Derek, they saved us. Marcus found them when I collapsed. They've been taking care. I don't need nobody taking care of my family." Derek's shout made Leia flinch. "I'm the man of this house." "You left," Marcus said quietly. "You said you'd be back in 2 days. It's been 8 days. Derek turned on his son. "Don't you talk back to me, boy. I'm your father." "You left us." Marcus's voice shook, but he didn't back down. Mom almost died. Leia wouldn't eat. I had to run to the highway and beg strangers because you left us. Derek moved toward Marcus. Jack moved faster. He placed himself between father and son. Didn't touch Derek. Didn't threaten. Just stood there. Mr. Williams, your son's upset. Everyone's upset. Let's all take a breath. Derek's eyes focused on Jack. You putting your hands on my kid? Nobody's putting hands on anybody. You telling me how to handle my family? I'm suggesting we talk like adults. Derek laughed. Bitter. Mean. Adults, right. Like I'm supposed to take life lessons from some biker trash who probably got a record longer than I-15. Bear shifted his weight behind Jack. Ready. Jack raised a hand slightly. Stand down. Mr. Williams, I understand you're upset. Coming home to find strangers here. That's gotta be confusing. But your family needed help. We provided it. That's all. Help. Derek spit the word. You know what helps money. You got money. We've been making repairs, buying food, getting your wife medical. I didn't ask for charity. Derek's face went red. I didn't ask for a bunch of has-been bikers playing savior. This is my family, my house, my responsibility. Then where were you? The words were out before Jack could stop them. Derek went very still. What did you say? Your wife was dying. Your kids were terrified. Where were you? I was getting money, like I said I would. Did you get it? Derek's jaw clenched. That ain't your business. You smell like a distillery. You look like you haven't slept in a week, and you roll up here acting like we're the problem. Jack kept his voice even, calm, deadly calm. We're not the problem, Mr. Williams. We're the solution you didn't provide. Derek swung. Jack saw it coming a mile away. Sloppy, drunk, desperate. He sidestepped. Let Derek's momentum carry him past. Derek stumbled, nearly fell. Dad, stop! Marcus screamed. Derek spun around, fists up. You think you're tough, huh? Think you can come into my house and disrespect me? I think you're drunk. I think you're hurting, and I think your family deserves better. My family is mine. Your family is people, not property. Derek charged. This time, Bear moved. Caught Derek mid-rush, wrapped him in a bear hug that pinned his arms. Easy, brother, Bear said. Easy. Nobody wants this. Derek thrashed. Let me go. Let me go. Not until you calm down. This is assault. I'll call the cops. You'll what? Jack stepped closer. Call the cops. They'll arrest you. Warrants remember DUI, assault, unpaid child support from your first marriage. You really want law enforcement here. Derek stopped struggling. His face went from red to pale. How do you know about that? Because we did our homework. Because we needed to know what we were dealing with. And what we're dealing with is a man who abandoned his family, violated his parole, and came back drunk, looking for a fight. Derek's eyes filled with tears. Rage and shame mixing together. I didn't abandon them. I loved them. I couldn't. Everything was falling apart and I couldn't fix it and... His voice broke. Bear loosened his grip slightly. You gonna be cool? Derek nodded. Bear let him go. Derek collapsed onto the porch steps, put his head in his hands, started sobbing. Full breakdown. The kind that comes from a man who's been holding it together with duct tape and denial. I tried, Derek whispered. I tried so hard, got laid off, couldn't find work. Disability denied, bills piling up, Shauna getting sick, kids hungry. I tried everything legal and it wasn't enough, so I tried some things that weren't legal and that made it worse, and I just couldn't watch them starve anymore. Shauna moved toward him, slowly, like approaching a wounded animal. Derek. He looked up at his wife. I'm sorry. God, Shauna, I'm so sorry. I said I'd get money. I was going to rob a store or something, but I couldn't do it. I sat in that parking lot for 2 hours with a mask, and I couldn't do it. So I got drunk instead. Been drunk for a week, because at least drunk I don't have to see how bad I failed. Shauna sat next to him. You didn't fail. Look at us. Look at this place. I failed. You tried. In a system designed to break people like us. You tried. Derek looked at the bikers. At Jack. Why are you helping? What do you want? Jack sat down on the step below them, eye level now. I got a daughter, Jack said. Haven't seen her in 3 years. She was 12 last time we talked. Told me I was a bad father, said she didn't want me in her life anymore. And she was right. I was bad at it. The drinking, the anger, the deployments that turned me into someone she didn't recognize. Derek was listening now. I can't fix what I broke with my daughter, Jack continued. Maybe I never can. But maybe if I help your kids, if I help your family stay together, maybe that balances the scales somewhere. Maybe that makes me less of a failure. You really believe that? Derek asked. I have to, because if I don't, what's the point of anything? They sat in silence for a moment. Marcus approached slowly. Dad? Derek looked at his son. Yeah, buddy. Are you staying this time? Derek's face crumpled. I want to. I want to so bad, but I got warrants. I can't stay without getting arrested. Then what do we do? Derek looked at Jack, looked at Shauna, looked at his kids. I don't know. Jack stood up. I do, but you're not gonna like it. What? You turn yourself in, face the warrants, take whatever deal they offer, do your time, come out clean. That could be years, minimum 6 months, maybe more. Yeah. And my family, they're supposed to just wait. No, they're supposed to survive, and we're gonna help them do that. Derek shook his head. You're asking me to abandon them again. I'm asking you to make a sacrifice so they have a future. Right now you're a fugitive, can't work legally, can't apply for benefits, can't even be here without risking arrest. You're a liability. But if you do your time, come out with a clean record, access, your VA benefits, you're an asset. 6 months minimum, could be a year, could be 2. Would you rather spend 2 years away knowing they're safe, or spend the next 6 months looking over your shoulder while they starve? Derek looked at Shauna. What do you think? Shauna's voice was steady. I think Jack's right. I think you need to do this. For all of us. I can't leave you again. You're not leaving. You're giving us a chance. Derek stood up, walked to Marcus, knelt down. You're the man of the house now. Think you can handle that? Marcus's lip quivered. I don't want to be the man of the house. I want you. I know, buddy. I know. But sometimes being brave means doing things we don't want to do. Can you be brave for me? Marcus nodded, tears streaming. Derek hugged his son, held him tight. I love you. Never forget that. I love you too, Dad. Derek picked up Laya next. She wrapped her arms around his neck. Daddy's got to go away for a while, Derek whispered. But I'm coming back. I promise. Real promise this time. Leia whispered something in his ear. Derek laughed through tears. Yeah, baby. The bikers can stay. They're good people. Finally, Derek turned to Shauna. I'm sorry I wasn't stronger. You're being strong now, that counts. They kissed, long, desperate, like people who knew it might be a long time before they could again. Derek pulled back, looked at Jack. Take care of them. We will. I mean it. They're everything to me. I know. Derek walked to his truck, paused with his hand on the door. How do I do this? Just walk into the sheriff's office. We'll go with you, Jack said. Make sure it's clean. Make sure you get a lawyer. Make sure this goes right. Derek nodded. Okay. Okay. Let's do it before I lose my nerve. Jack turned to the others. Bear, Vince, you're with me. Rest of you stay here. Watch the family. Nobody comes, nobody goes. We're back in a few hours. They loaded into Derek's truck and Bear's bike. The ride to Carson City took 40 minutes. Nobody talked much. At the sheriff's office, Derek walked in with his head up. Jack and Bear flanked him. The desk sergeant looked up. Help you. I'm Derek Williams. I got warrants. I'm turning myself in. The sergeant's eyebrows went up. That's a first. An hour later, Derek was processed. Public defender assigned. Bail set at $5,000, might as well have been $5 million. Derek looked at Jack through the holding cell bars. Take care of my family. Already am. No, I mean really take care of them. Don't let the system eat them alive. We won't. Derek sat on the bench, looked smaller now, younger, like the weight of carrying impossible responsibility had aged him prematurely, and now that it was gone, he was just a scared kid. Thank you, Derek said, for everything, for not judging me. Been where you are, Jack said. Different circumstances, same desperation. You're not a bad man. You're a broken man in a broken system. That ain't your fault. Feels like it is. Yeah, it does. They left Derek there, drove back in silence. Marcus was waiting on the porch when they returned. Is he okay? He's safe, Jack said. That's all that matters right now. When's he coming home? Might be a while, son, but he's doing the right thing. That counts for something. Marcus nodded like he understood, but his eyes said he didn't. He was 7. 7-year-olds shouldn't have to understand adult consequences. That night, Shauna had a breakdown. Not the crying kind, the giving up kind. Jack found her in the kitchen at 2 a.m. staring at bills spread across the table. Can't sleep, Jack asked. Can't breathe, can't think, can't figure out how any of this works. She looked at him. You know what Derek's bail is. $5,000. Do you know how much I have? I can guess. Negative $800. My account's overdrawn. I owe the bank money for having no money. That's where we are. Jack sat down. What were you before all this? Before I was a dealer. Blackjack. At a casino in Vegas. Made decent money. Had health insurance. Then I got pregnant with Leia, and the diabetes diagnosis came, and the insurance company dropped me, and the casino fired me because I couldn't work the hours anymore, and we moved here thinking cheaper living would help, but cheaper living just means slower dying. You could go back to Vegas, start over. With 2 kids and a husband in jail and diabetes medication I can't afford, who's gonna hire me? She laughed, bitter. I'm 36 years old and my life is over. Your life's not over. Yes, it is. You just don't want to admit you're watching it end. Jack didn't have an answer for that, because maybe she was right. Maybe this was all prolonging the inevitable. When Karen Miller comes back in 4 days, Shauna continued, she's going to see that nothing's really changed. House is slightly better, but still falling apart. I'm still sick. Derek's in jail, and she's going to take my babies. That's what happens to people like us. We don't get happy endings. Maybe not, but we get to fight for them. I'm tired of fighting. I know. I'm so tired, Jack. I've been fighting for 5 years, fighting to keep us fed, keep us housed, keep us together. And I'm losing. I've always been losing. I just didn't want to admit it. Jack reached across the table, took her hand. Then let us fight for you. For a while. Let us carry the weight. Why do you care so much? Jack thought about his daughter, about all the times he'd let her down, about the hole in his chest that never healed. Because caring gives me a reason to wake up, Jack said. For the last 3 years I've been going through the motions. Work, ride, drink, sleep, repeat. No purpose, no meaning, just existing, but helping you, helping your kids. That's the first time in 3 years I've felt like I matter. Shauna squeezed his hand. You matter. You all matter. I just wish I could pay you back. We don't want payment. We want to see you win. That's payment enough. She started crying. Quiet tears. Jack sat with her until the sun came up. Day 4 brought Dr. Singh. She was in her 50s, Indian, with kind eyes and steady hands. She examined Shauna in the living room while the bikers waited outside. 20 minutes later, Dr. Singh emerged looking concerned. She needs hospitalization. Her A1C is dangerous. Kidney function is declining. If this continues, she'll be in organ failure within weeks. Can't you treat her here? Vince asked. Not adequately. She needs consistent monitoring, dietary management, possibly insulin pump therapy. What you've been doing has kept her alive, but it's not sustainable. Jack felt the walls closing in. If she goes to a hospital, Child Protective Services gets involved. I know. I've seen this pattern before. Dr. Singh looked at the house, at the kids playing in the yard. The system is designed to help, but it often destroys what it touches. So what do we do? Dr. Singh thought for a moment. There's a clinic I work with, federally qualified health center. They serve uninsured populations, no questions asked, sliding scale fees. If I can get her enrolled, she'd get proper diabetes care medications at cost nutritional counseling. It's not perfect, but it's something. How long does enrollment take? Normally 2 weeks, but I know the director. I can expedite it. Maybe 3 days. Karen Miller comes back in 3 days. Then we work fast. I'll make calls today. Get the paperwork started. Shauna will need to come in for intake tomorrow. Can you get her there? We'll get her there. Dr. Singh nodded. One more thing. The house. Has anyone from the county health department been here? Not that we know of. Good. Keep it that way. Because if they inspect this place, they'll red tag it. Condemn it. Then you lose everything. How do we prevent that? Fix what you can, hide what you can't, and pray nobody asks questions. After Dr. Singh left, Jack called a club meeting. 8 bikers sat around a table that barely fit them all. We got 3 days, Jack said. 3 days to make this place pass inspection. 3 days to get Shauna enrolled in a health program. 3 days to prove to Karen Miller this family deserves to stay together. That enough time? Tommy spoke up. Roof's patched but not fixed. Need at least a week for proper repair. Ray added, plumbing's functional, but it's held together with wishes. First freeze will burst every pipe. Carlos shook his head. Windows are a loss. Some are cracked. Some are just missing. We covered them with plastic, but that's not passing any inspection. What about utilities? Jack asked. Power company still wants $800, Tommy said. I've been running the generator, but we're burning through gas. That's another $100 every 2 days. Jack did the math. Even if they maxed out every credit card between them, they were still short. What about the club treasury? Diego asked. We got anything left? Bear snorted. Club treasury's been empty for 6 months. We can't even afford to renew our insurance. Then we fundraise, Shotgun said. Do a rally, charity ride, something. In 3 days, Vince shook his head. Can't organize that fast. Silence fell. There's another option, Ghost said quietly. Everyone looked at him. My brother, the one who works for CPS. I could call him, get advice. Maybe he knows a loophole. No calls, Jack said automatically, then paused. Actually, maybe that's not a bad idea. Can you trust him? With my life? Then make the call, but off the record, no official anything. Ghost nodded and stepped outside. Jack looked at the others. We're out of time and out of money, so we improvise. We make this place look good enough to pass a quick inspection. We get Shauna into that clinic, and we hope Karen Miller is in a good mood. And if she's not, Bear asked, then we fight. Fight how we're bikers, not lawyers. We fight by being there, by standing between CPS and this family, by making them work for it. That's not a plan, Jack. That's suicide. Maybe, but it's all we got. Ghost came back inside. His face was pale. What? Jack asked. My brother says... He says Karen Miller's got a reputation. She's one of the good ones. Actually tries to keep families together when possible. But she's also a rule follower. If the house doesn't meet standards, if Shauna doesn't have medical care documented, if there's any hint of instability, she'll remove the kids. She won't want to, but she will. What constitutes instability? Unemployed mother, incarcerated father, no permanent address, no income, no health care, no support system. Ghost paused. Basically everything this family has. We're the support system. A motorcycle club, Jack, in the eyes of the state, were part of the problem, not the solution. Jack felt the weight settling on his shoulders again. heavier now. Then we become legitimate. We formalize it. Make it legal. How? Jack pulled out his phone, Googled something, read for a minute, then looked up. We form a non-profit, 501c3, Iron Riders Family Services, official mission supporting at-risk families. That makes us legitimate, makes our help official. Bear laughed. You're insane. Forming a non-profit takes months, paperwork, approval, fees. Not if we expedite it. Not if we know the right people. Do we know the right people? No, but we're about to. Jack made a call, put it on speaker. Sarah, it's Jack Thompson. A woman's voice answered, warm but cautious. Jack, haven't heard from you in 2 years. What do you want? I need a favor. Of course you do. I need to form a non-profit. Fast. Like within 48 hours, fast. Sarah laughed. That's impossible. You're a lawyer. Impossible is your specialty. I'm an entertainment lawyer, Jack. I handle contracts and copyrights, not non-profits. But you know people who do. Silence. Then, why? What's this about? Jack explained. Everything. The kid on the highway, the family, the deadline, the fight. When he finished, Sarah was quiet for a long moment. You're trying to save a family you don't know. Yeah. By forming a nonprofit in 48 hours. Yeah. That's the most Jack Thompson thing I've ever heard, she sighed. I'll make some calls. No promises, but I'll try. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Even if we pull this off, you're looking at fees. Filing. Expediting. Probably $2,000 minimum. We'll find it. How? I don't know yet, but we will. After he hung up, Bear looked at him. Where are we getting $2,000? I'll sell my bike. Your bike. Jack's Harley was his baby, custom build, 10 years of work, worth maybe $8,000. It's just a bike, Jack said. They're a family. Bear shook his head. You're gonna regret this. Maybe, but I'll regret doing nothing more. The next morning, Jack listed his bike online, had 3 offers within an hour, sold it by noon for $7,500. Felt like cutting off his arm. Marcus watched him hand over the keys to the buyer. You sold your motorcycle? Yeah. Why? Because your family needs help more than I need to ride. But you love that bike. I heard you talk about it. I do, but I love what it can do for you more. Marcus hugged him, just wrapped his arms around Jack's waist and held on. You're a good person, Marcus whispered. Jack's eyes burned, trying to be son, trying to be. With the bike money, they paid the power company, fixed the worst of the windows, bought supplies for repairs, hired a handyman for the jobs they couldn't do themselves. By day 6, the house looked almost livable. Not perfect, but better. Shauna got enrolled in the clinic, started proper treatment, got a 3-month supply of insulin at cost, nutritional counseling, a medical team that actually cared. Sarah came through, expedited the nonprofit paperwork. Iron Riders Family Services was now official. On paper, they were a legitimate organization dedicated to supporting at-risk families. On day 7, Karen Miller returned. She walked through the house slowly, checked the roof, tested the plumbing, examined the windows, reviewed Shauna's medical records. Nobody breathed. Finally, Karen sat down at the kitchen table, pulled out her clipboard. This is better, she said. Significantly better. Thank you, ma'am, Jack said. The house still needs work, but it's functional, safe. The children have beds, food, utilities are connected, medical care is documented and ongoing. She looked at Shauna. How are you feeling? Better. The clinic's been wonderful. I'm managing my diabetes properly now. Karen nodded, wrote notes, then looked at Jack. This nonprofit, Iron Riders Family Services, you formed it when? 4 days ago. Convenient timing. Necessary timing. Karen studied him. Mr. Thompson, I'm going to be honest with you. In 15 years, I've never seen a motorcycle club successfully support a family long-term. The initial enthusiasm fades. Reality sets in. People move on. We're not moving on. How can you promise that because we put it in writing, because we formalized it, because we made it bigger than just us? This family isn't a charity case. They're our first client. And if we're going to run a legitimate family services organization, we better succeed with them, or we got no business helping anyone else. Karen looked at Marcus and Leia playing in the living room, looked at Shauna sitting at the table with proper medication and hope in her eyes. I'm going to approve continued home placement, Karen said, conditionally. What conditions? Monthly check-ins for 6 months, unannounced visits during that time, continued medical care for Shauna, proof of stable income or benefits enrollment, and proof that your nonprofit isn't just paperwork, that you're actually functioning as a support system. We can do that. And one more thing. Karen looked at Jack directly. When Derek Williams is released, he goes through our reunification program, counseling, parenting classes, the works, no shortcuts. Agreed. Karen signed her form, closed her folder, stood up. You did something remarkable here, Mr. Thompson. Don't screw it up. No, ma'am. After she left, the house erupted. Marcus and Leia jumped and screamed. Shauna cried. The bikers hugged and high-fived and acted like they'd just won the lottery. Because in a way, they had. They'd beaten the system, at least for now. That night, they celebrated with pizza and soda. Nothing fancy. But it felt like a feast. Marcus sat next to Jack. Can I ask you something? Always. Are you going to leave now? Now that the lady said we're okay? Jack looked at this kid who'd been through more than any child should, who'd survived neglect and poverty and still had hope. We're not going anywhere, Jack said. We made a promise. We keep our promises. Forever. As long as you need us. Marcus smiled. First genuine smile Jack had seen. Good, because I need you. Jack pulled the kid close. We need you too. And for the first time in 3 years, Jack Thompson felt like maybe, just maybe, he'd done something right. 3 weeks later, Jack got the call he'd been dreading. Jack Thompson. The voice was official, cold. Speaking. This is Officer Mendez, Carson City Sheriff's Department. Derek Williams listed you as his emergency contact. He's been transferred to the medical wing. Stabbed during a fight in Gen Pop. He's stable, but Jack didn't hear the rest. He was already moving. Bear Vince, we got a problem. 20 minutes later, 3 bikers were racing toward Carson City. Jack's new bike, a used Honda he'd bought for $1,500, felt like riding a shopping cart compared to his Harley. But it moved. At the hospital wing of the detention center, they had to wait 2 hours before anyone would talk to them. Finally, a doctor emerged. Young, tired. You're here for Derek Williams. How bad? Punctured lung, broken ribs, lost a lot of blood. He'll live, but he's looking at extended recovery. Minimum 3 months before he can be transferred back to general population. What happened? The doctor glanced around, lowered his voice. Off the record. Wrong place, wrong time, some gang thing. Derek tried to break it up, got caught in the middle. Guards say he actually saved another inmate's life, but the system doesn't care about that. Now he's just another statistic. Can we see him? 10 minutes. That's all I can give you. Derek looked like hell. Tubes everywhere. Face swollen. But his eyes were clear. Hey, he croaked. Hey, yourself. Jack pulled up a chair. Heard you played hero. Heard wrong. Just tried not to die. Doctor says you saved someone. Kid, 19. First offense. Gangs were going to kill him for refusing to pick a side. I stepped in. Stupid. Brave. Same thing usually. Derek coughed. Winced. How's Shauna? The kids. Good. House is coming together. Shauna's managing her diabetes. Kids are in school. Marcus asks about you every day. Derek's eyes filled. Tell him I'm okay. You're not okay. You got stabbed. Then lie. Tell him I'm okay. Kid doesn't need to know his dad's bleeding out in a prison hospital. Jack understood. Some lies were kindness. Your lawyer says this might help your case, Vince offered. showing good character, protecting another inmate. Or it adds assault charges. System's funny like that. We're fighting for you, Jack said. Getting character witnesses, documentation of your service record. We're not letting you rot here. Why, I'm nobody to you. You're Marcus's dad, Leia's dad, Shauna's husband. That makes you somebody. Derek looked away. I don't deserve this. Don't deserve you guys caring. Nobody deserves most of what they get, good or bad. But we're here anyway. A guard knocked. Time's up. Jack stood. We'll be back, and we'll take care of your family. That's a promise. Jack, Derek's voice stopped him at the door. Thank you for everything, for being the man I couldn't be. You're being that man now, in here, healing, getting clean. That counts. The ride back was quiet, each man lost in his own thoughts. Bear finally spoke. How long can we keep this up? Keep what up? This, playing family. We got jobs we're barely showing up for. Bills we're not paying. Our own lives falling apart while we hold theirs together. You want out? I'm saying we need to be realistic. We can't do this forever. Jack knew Bear was right. The last 3 weeks had drained them, financially, emotionally, physically. So what do? We make the nonprofit real, not just paperwork, actually functioning. Get grants, donations, build something sustainable. How? I don't know, but we better figure it out before we all go broke. That night, Jack sat at Shauna's kitchen table with a laptop borrowed from Tommy, researching grants, foundations, funding sources for family services, nonprofits. Marcus appeared in his pajamas. You okay, Jack? Just working, buddy. You look sad. Kids saw too much. Just tired. Marcus climbed into the chair next to him. I heard Bear talking about money problems, about how helping us is making you guys poor. Don't worry about that. But I do worry. You sold your motorcycle for us. You're here every day. What if you can't afford to help anymore? Jack closed the laptop. Marcus, look at me. The kid met his eyes. We made a promise to you, to your sister, to your mom. And Iron Riders don't break promises. Not for money, not for anything. You understand? But what if? No, what ifs? We're here. We're staying. End of story. Marcus hugged him. I love you, Jack. The words hit like a punch. Jack hadn't heard those words in 3 years. Not since his daughter. I love you too, kid. And he meant it. The next morning brought new problems. Tommy burst in at 6 a.m. Jack, school called. Marcus got in a fight. Jack was there in 15 minutes. The principal's office felt exactly like every principal's office in America. Uncomfortable chairs, motivational posters, the smell of industrial cleaner and disappointment. Marcus sat in a chair, knuckles bloody face defiant. The principal, Mrs. Rodriguez, looked exhausted. Mr. Thompson, I presume? Yes, ma'am. Marcus has been suspended for 3 days. Fighting is a zero-tolerance offense. What happened? Another student made comments about his family situation. Marcus responded with his fists. Jack looked at Marcus. That true? Marcus nodded. What did the other kids say? Mrs. Rodriguez hesitated. Does it matter? Yeah, it matters. She sighed. He called Marcus's mother a derogatory term. Said his father was in prison where he belongs. Said Marcus would end up there too because that's what happens to trailer trash. Jack felt rage building. And what's happening to the other kid? He'll receive counseling. Counseling. Marcus threw punches, he gets suspended. Other kid throws words that cut deeper than any fist, he gets counseling. Mr. Thompson's school policy. School policy protects bullies and punishes victims. That's what I'm hearing. Mrs. Rodriguez's face softened. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. But between us, the other kid is a problem. This isn't his first incident, but his parents are donors, major donors, so my hands are tied. Jack understood. Money talked, even in elementary schools. Can I talk to Marcus alone? 5 minutes. After she left, Jack sat next to Marcus. Want to tell me your side? He called Mom names, called Dad a criminal, said we're trash, said you and the bikers are just using us for some scam. Marcus's voice shook. I told him to stop, he didn't, so I hit him. How many times? 3. Once for Mom, once for Dad, once for you. Jack wanted to laugh, wanted to high-five the kid, but he was supposed to be the adult here. Violence isn't the answer, Marcus. Then what is? Let him say whatever he wants. No, you defend your family, but with words, with dignity, with strength that doesn't need fists. That's not fair. Words hurt worse than punches. I know, but the world ain't fair. And if you punch every kid who says something mean, you'll be fighting forever. Marcus looked down. I'm sorry. I let you down. You didn't let me down. You stood up for your family. That takes courage. But next time, you tell a teacher. You tell me. You let adults handle it. Adults don't always handle it. Kid had a point. They left the school together. In the parking lot, the other kid's mother was waiting. Designer clothes, expensive car, face like she smelled something bad. You're the biker, she said. I'm Jack Thompson. Your boy attacked my son. Your son verbally assaulted his family. Children say things. That's no excuse for violence. You're right, so maybe teach your son not to say things that provoke violence. Her eyes narrowed. I know who you are, what you are. Motorcycle gang pretending to be heroes. You're probably running some scam, using that poor woman and her children for... Ma'am, with all due respect, you don't know anything about us, or this family, or what we've done. So maybe focus on raising your son to be a decent human being instead of judging situations you don't understand. How dare you? Have a blessed day, ma'am. Jack walked away. Marcus followed. In the truck, Marcus asked, was that the right way to handle it? Honestly, probably not. But sometimes standing your ground is more important than being polite. Jack. Yeah. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Jack's chest tightened. Aim higher, kid. Be better than me. I don't think that's possible. Back at the house, Shauna was waiting. She'd heard. Marcus, go to your room. But Mom, now. Marcus left. Shauna turned to Jack. The school called. Said you confronted another parent. Made threats. I didn't make threats. I defended your family. By making enemies, Jack, we're already on thin ice. We can't afford to antagonize people, especially people with money and influence. So what should I have done? Let her trash talk us. Yes, because that's what people in our position do. We take it. We smile. We survive. We don't fight battles we can't win. That's not surviving. That's surrendering. It's reality. You think you can fix everything with strength and stubbornness. You can't. Some fights are lost before they start. Jack had never seen Shauna this angry. You think I don't know how the world works, Shauna continued. I've been poor my whole life. I know rich people win. I know the system protects them. I know we're disposable. But I also know that making enemies of the wrong people can destroy us faster than poverty ever could. So what we teach Marcus to take abuse? We teach Marcus to survive, to pick battles that matter, to know when fighting back will only make things worse. They stared at each other, both breathing hard. Finally, Shauna's shoulders sagged. I'm sorry. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at everything. At a world where my son gets suspended for defending his family, where the bully gets counseling, where money matters more than right and wrong. Jack pulled her into a hug. I'm sorry too. You're right. I should have been smarter. Should have thought about consequences. No. You should have done exactly what you did. Stand up for us. I'm just scared. Scared that everything we've built will fall apart because of one angry parent with connections. It won't. We won't let it. But Jack wasn't sure he believed that. 2 days later, the fallout hit. Karen Miller showed up unannounced. Not her scheduled check-in. Emergency visit. We received a complaint, she said, from a parent at Marcus's school, alleging that you, the Iron Riders, are operating some kind of fraud. using this family to scam donations, creating a fake nonprofit for financial gain. Jack felt his blood pressure spike. That's insane. Is it? You formed a nonprofit 3 days before my inspection. Convenient timing. Now you're operating it out of this house. No office. No staff. Just 8 bikers and 1 family. We're building something legitimate. Are you? Show me your financial records. Show me your donor list. Show me evidence that this isn't just paperwork. Jack couldn't, because they didn't have donors yet. Didn't have grants yet. Didn't have anything except good intentions and maxed credit cards. We're just starting, Jack said. These things take time. Time you don't have. I'm required to investigate complaints, and if I find evidence of fraud of exploitation, I remove the children immediately. Shauna stepped forward. These men saved us. They're not scammers. They're not criminals. They're good people doing good things. Mrs. Williams, I want to believe that, but I have to follow protocol. I'm opening a full investigation into Iron Riders Family Services, financial audit, background checks on all members, home visits, interviews, everything. How long? Jack asked. 2 weeks minimum. During that time, I'm increasing supervision, weekly check-ins. If I find anything that suggests impropriety, I'm removing Marcus and Leia immediately. After she left the house, fell silent. Bear broke it. We're screwed. We're not screwed, Jack said. Jack, we got no donors, no revenue, no legitimate operation, just a bunch of broke bikers playing charity. That audit's gonna expose everything. Then we make it legitimate, fast, real donors, real operations, real proof. How in 2 weeks? We work miracles. It's what we do. But Jack sounded more confident than he felt. That night, they held an emergency club meeting. We need $10,000, Jack said, minimum, to show operational expenses, to prove we're legit. Where are we getting $10,000? Diego asked. We fundraise. We call every contact we have. We beg if we have to. I got maybe 200 I can spare, Tommy said. Same, said Carlos. They went around the table. Combined, they could scrape together maybe 1,500. We need more, Bear said. What about a fundraiser charity ride? Takes weeks to organize. We got days. Then what? Jack thought about it. Thought about every resource they had. We go public. Tell our story. Social media. Local news. Put it out there. Let people decide if we're worth supporting. That's risky, Vince said. We invite scrutiny. What if people dig into our pasts, our records? Then they find out we're not perfect, so what we never claimed to be. Jack, I got a felony. 3 years for assault. Diego did time for dealing. Carlos has a domestic on his record. You really want that public? I want to save this family. Whatever that takes. They voted, 5-3. They'd go public. The next day, Jack called every local news station. Most didn't answer. One did. KRNV News, this is Jessica. My name's Jack Thompson. I got a story you might be interested in. About a motorcycle club saving a family. About the system trying to tear them apart. About fighting for what's right. We get dozens of story pitches daily. What makes yours special? Because it's real. No sugarcoating, no heroes. Just broken people trying to fix something. And if we fail, 2 kids lose their family forever. Silence on the line. Where are you located? Jack gave the address. I'll send a crew tomorrow, but Mr. Thompson, if this is a scam, we'll expose it. We don't do puff pieces. Good, because we're not asking for puff. We're asking for truth. The news crew arrived at 10 a.m. Reporter, cameraman, sound guy. Jessica Chen was young, maybe 28, sharp eyes, sharper questions. Tell me why a motorcycle club is living with a single mother and her children. Jack told her everything. The kid on the highway, the mother who wouldn't wake up, the father in jail, the system threatening to separate them, the fight to keep them together. And you formed a nonprofit. Yes, ma'am. 3 days before a CPS inspection. Yes, ma'am. That doesn't look suspicious to you. It looks like we were responding to need. Fast. That's what nonprofits do. Jessica interviewed Shauna next. Do you feel safe with these men in your house? Safer than I've felt in years. Your husband is incarcerated. How do you explain that to your children? I tell them their father made mistakes, and that he's working to fix them, same as all of us. Do you worry these bikers are using you? Shauna looked directly at the camera. These men sold their possessions to help us, spent their savings, gave their time. If that's being used, I'll take it, because before them, we had nothing. Now we have hope. Jessica interviewed Marcus last. How do you feel about the Iron Riders? They're my family, not blood family, but the family that showed up when nobody else did. Some people think they're scamming your mother. Marcus's face hardened. Those people don't know anything. Jack and the others saved us, and anyone who says different is a liar. The segment aired that night. 5 minutes of footage, Shauna's story, Marcus's defense, Jack's explanation, and Jessica's closing statement. The question isn't whether the Iron Riders are perfect. Clearly they're not. Background checks reveal criminal records, financial problems, complicated pasts. But the question is, in a system that often fails the families it's designed to help, is imperfect help better than no help at all? This is Jessica Chen, KRNV News. The response was immediate. By midnight, their nonprofit email had 300 messages, most supportive, some hateful. But in the supportive ones, donations. $20 here, $50 there, $100, $200. By morning, they'd raised $4,000. Holy hell, Bear said, staring at the laptop. People actually care. People always cared, Jack said. They just needed to know where to care. The money kept coming. By day 3, they'd hit 8,000. By day 5, 12,000. Local businesses reached out. A hardware store donated supplies. A plumber offered free labor. A restaurant committed to providing meals twice a week. The community was showing up, but so were the haters. Someone spray-painted scammers on the house. Someone slashed 2 of their bike tires. Someone called in a false CPS report claiming child abuse. Karen Miller had to investigate. Found nothing. But each investigation added stress. This is what happens when you go public, Vince said. You invite everyone in, good and bad. Worth it, Jack said. Look at what we've built. Look at what we can do now. With the donations, they completed real repairs, hired licensed contractors, got everything up to code, created a legitimate paper trail. They also started helping other families. Not much, just small things. A single mom who needed groceries, an elderly veteran who couldn't afford his medications, a teenager aging out of foster care who needed furniture. Iron Riders Family Services was becoming real, but the investigation continued. Karen Miller showed up with an auditor, spent 6 hours reviewing every receipt, every transaction, every document. Jack, Bear, and Shauna sat across from them at the kitchen table. Finally, Karen looked up. This is legitimate. Jack exhaled. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You're operating legally. Your finances are clean. Your background checks are problematic but not disqualifying. However, there was always a however. However, the complaint remains open. The parent who filed it is connected, wealthy, influential. She's pushing the county attorney to investigate further. Fraud charges. Exploitation charges. If they find anything, they won't, Jack said, because there's nothing to find. I believe you, but belief and proof are different things. You need to be perfect from here on out. No mistakes, no gray areas, everything by the book. We can do that. And one more thing, Karen looked at Shauna. Derek's hearing is in 3 weeks. If he's released, he comes home to this, to you, to the children. Are you ready for that? Shauna hesitated. I don't know. He hurt us by leaving, by giving up. I'm not sure I can forgive that. You don't have to forgive, but you do have to decide. Because if he's released and you don't want him here, we need alternative plans. For him, for the family structure, for everything. Can I think about it? You have 3 weeks. Use them. After Karen left, Shauna broke down. I don't know what to do. I love him. I hate him. I want him home. I want him gone. I want our family back. I want to move on. How do I choose? Jack sat next to her. You don't choose alone. We help you figure it out. But it's my choice. My marriage. My life. Yeah. But you got people who care now. Use us. Talk to us. Let us help you think it through. Shauna wiped her eyes. What would you do if you were me? Jack thought about his ex-wife, about the marriage that fell apart, about the daughter who stopped speaking to him. I'd ask myself one question. Is the man coming home the same man who left? Or has prison changed him? Has hitting bottom changed him? If he's the same, you got your answer. If he's different, maybe he deserves a chance. How do I know? You visit him, you talk, you look him in the eyes, and you'll know. 2 days later, Shauna visited Derek. She went alone. Her choice. Jack and Bear waited in the truck outside the facility for 2 hours. When she emerged, her face was unreadable. In the truck, she was silent for 10 minutes. Finally, he's different. Different how? Jack asked. Humbled, broken, but in a good way. Like the fight's gone out of him. The anger, the pride. He cried, apologized, not the defensive apologies from before, real ones. The kind that hurt to hear because they're true. You believe him. I don't know, but I want to. Is that stupid? That's hope. Ain't nothing stupid about that. He asked about the kids, asked if they hate him. I told him they miss him, and he just broke down, said he doesn't deserve us, doesn't deserve another chance. But if I give him one, he'll spend the rest of his life proving he's worth it. Bear spoke from the back seat. What did you say? I said I'll think about it. That I need to see consistency, not promises, actions. And that if he messes up again, I'm done. Forever. No more chances. That's fair, Jack said. Is it? Or am I just setting us up to get hurt again? Maybe both. But maybe that's what love is. Risking hurt for the chance of healing. Shauna looked at him. You're a lot smarter than you look, Jack Thompson. Don't tell anyone. Ruins my tough guy image. She laughed. First real laugh in weeks. The hearing came 3 weeks later. Derek stood before a judge, public defender at his side. Jack, Shauna, and 3 other Iron Riders in the gallery for support. The prosecutor laid out Derek's charges. Unpaid child support, probation violations, the arrest, but also his cooperation in prison, saving another inmate, good behavior, clean record inside. The public defender argued for time served, probation, reunification with family. The judge listened, reviewed documents, finally looked at Derek. Mr. Williams, you've made serious mistakes, cost the state time and money. Caused your family immense hardship. Why should I show leniency? Derek stood. Your Honor, I got no excuse. I failed. Failed my wife, my kids, myself. I came home from deployment broken, and instead of getting help, I made it everyone else's problem. I ran when things got hard. I blamed everyone except the person I saw in the mirror. And what's changed? I hit bottom, got stabbed, almost died. Realized my kids would grow up without a father because I was too proud and too scared to face my failures. That woke me up. Made me see that being a man ain't about being strong. It's about being present, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. The judge looked at Shauna. Mrs. Williams, does your husband returning home benefit your children? Shauna stood. Yes, Your Honor. Not because we need him. We survived without him. But because they deserve a father who's learned from his mistakes, and I believe he has. The judge reviewed papers, made notes. Mr. Williams, I'm sentencing you to time served plus 2 years supervised probation. Conditions include mandatory counseling, parenting classes, regular drug testing, and full compliance with child support obligations. You will also complete 200 hours of community service. Violation of any condition results in immediate incarceration for the remainder of your original sentence plus additional charges. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. Then good luck. Don't make me regret this. The gavel fell. Derek was free. In the parking lot, he hugged Shauna like she might disappear, hugged his kids like they were made of glass. Then he turned to Jack. I owe you everything. You don't owe me anything. Just be the father they need. I will. I swear to God I will. Don't swear to God, swear to them. Jack nodded at Marcus and Leia. They're who matters. Derek knelt down, pulled his children close. I promise. From this moment on, I'm the dad you deserve. No more running. No more excuses, I'm here. For real this time. Marcus hugged his father. I missed you, Dad. I missed you too, son. So much. Leia whispered in Derek's ear. Derek smiled through tears. Yeah, baby. The bikers can definitely stay. They're family now. And watching this family reunite broken, but healing, imperfect, but trying, Jack Thompson felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not the absence of struggle, but the presence of purpose. They'd done it. Against impossible odds, against a system designed to tear families apart against their own limitations. They'd done it. The ride home felt different, lighter somehow. Bear pulled up alongside Jack at a red light. We actually pulled it off. Barely. Still counts. Yeah, it does. So what now? Jack thought about the other families who'd reached out, about the single mom who needed help, about the veteran who couldn't afford medication, about the teenager aging out of foster care. Now we do it again, and again, until we can't anymore. You realize we just signed up for a lifetime of this. Good. Beats the lifetime of nothing we had before. The light turned green. They rode toward home, toward a family that was theirs not by blood, but by choice, not by accident, but by purpose. And for 8 broken bikers who'd spent years lost, that was more than enough. It was everything. Derek's first night home should have been perfect. It wasn't. He sat at the dinner table staring at food he couldn't eat. His hands shook. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the cool air. You okay? Shauna asked quietly. Yeah, just adjusting. But Marcus saw it. Kids always saw what adults tried to hide. Dad, you're shaking. I'm fine, son. You're not fine. Derek's fork clattered to his plate. I said I'm fine. The table went silent. Leia started crying. Derek's face crumpled. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. He stood up fast. Chair scraped. He walked outside. Jack found him on the porch 20 minutes later, head in his hands. Withdrawal? Jack asked. Derek didn't look up. How'd you know? Been there. Different substance, same hell. They had me on meds inside. For anxiety. For sleep. Cut me off yesterday. Said I don't need them anymore. But my body's screaming. Everything's too loud, too bright, too much. Jack sat down next to him. You tell your probation officer. And risk getting locked up again. No, I can handle it. You just yelled at your kid for asking if you're okay. That's not handling it. Derek's voice broke. I've been home 6 hours and I'm already failing them. You're not failing. You're struggling. There's a difference. Feels the same. It's not. Failing is giving up. Struggling is fighting. You're still fighting. Derek looked at Jack with eyes that held too much pain. How do you do it? How do you keep showing up when everything inside you is broken? Jack thought about his daughter, about 3 years of silence, about mistakes that couldn't be unmade. You show up because not showing up is worse, because every day you're present is a day you're not absent, and enough present days eventually outweigh the absent ones. What if I can't make it? What if I mess up again? Then we catch you, That's what we're here for. You can't babysit me forever. Not babysitting, supporting. There's a difference. Derek wiped his eyes. I need help, Jack. Real help. The kind that costs money we don't have. Then we find it. That's what the nonprofit's for. You've already done too much. We haven't done enough until you're stable. Until this family's stable. So let us help. Derek nodded slowly. Okay. But I gotta make this right with Marcus first. Inside, Marcus was in his room. Derek knocked. Go away. Marcus, I need to talk to you. You yelled at me. You said you were different, but you're the same. Derek opened the door anyway. Marcus was on his bed, face buried in his pillow. Derek sat on the edge of the bed. You're right. I yelled. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. You're always sorry. I know. And I know sorry doesn't fix anything. But I'm trying to explain. I'm sick, Marcus. Not like Mom's sick. Different. My brain's sick. And it makes me react wrong sometimes. But that's not your fault. None of this is your fault. Marcus turned over. His face was wet. Are you going to leave again? No. You promise. I promise. And this time I mean it. Because I know what happens if I leave. I almost died, Marcus. In jail. Someone stabbed me. And all I could think about was you and Leia growing up without me. That woke me up. Made me realize I'd rather die trying to be your dad than live running from it. Jack said being brave means being scared and doing it anyway. Jack's a smart man. Smarter than me. Are you scared? Derek pulled his son close. Terrified. Every second. Scared I'll mess up. Scared I'll disappoint you. Scared I'll prove everyone right who said I'd fail. But I'm here anyway. Because you're worth being scared for. Marcus hugged his father. I'm scared too. Scared you'll leave. Scared you'll yell again. Scared everything will go back to how it was. It won't. Because I'm getting help. Real help. And Jack and the others are making sure I don't fall. We're a team now. All of us. Even Leia. Especially Leia. She's tough. Tougher than all of us. Marcus smiled a little. Yeah, she is. They sat together until Marcus fell asleep. Derek stayed in the doorway watching his son breathe, making promises to himself about being better. The next morning, Vince showed up with information. Found a VA counselor who specializes in PTSD and reintegration. She's good. Takes the VA healthcare plan Derek qualifies for now that he's on probation instead of incarcerated. How soon can he get in? Jack asked. Already scheduled. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. But there's a catch. There's always a catch. She's in Reno, hour drive. Derek doesn't have a car, doesn't have a license, can't miss the appointment, or his probation officer flags it as non-compliance. I'll take him. You got work tomorrow. Jack worked construction. Missed days meant lost pay. He was already behind on rent. I'll figure it out. Derek overheard. Jack, no. I can't ask you to. You didn't ask. I offered. Big difference. But your job will be there when I get back, or it won't. Either way, you're making that appointment. The drive to Reno was quiet at first. Then Derek started talking. I wasn't always like this. Broken. Angry. I was a good soldier once. Good husband. When Shauna got pregnant with Marcus, I swore I'd be the dad I never had. Present. Stable. Safe. What happened? Fallujah happened. My squad got hit. IED. 3 guys died instantly. 2 more died in my arms waiting for medevac. I walked away with a concussion and some shrapnel. Physically fine. But something broke inside. Something that never healed. Jack understood. He'd lost brothers in Kandahar. Carried their weight every day. You get help then? Tried. VA kept denying my claims. Said my PTSD wasn't service-connected. Like watching your friends die doesn't count if you didn't get shot yourself. Applied 3 times. Denied 3 times. Eventually gave up. That's when the drinking started. That's when everything started. Drinking, fighting, losing jobs, pushing Shauna away. I kept thinking if I could just man up, just be stronger, I could fix it myself. But you can't fix a broken brain with willpower. No, you can't. They arrived at the VA clinic. Derek went in. Jack waited. 2 hours later, Derek emerged looking lighter somehow. How'd it go? She listened. Actually listened. Didn't judge. Didn't tell me to get over it. Just listened. And gave me tools, coping mechanisms, and prescribed meds that'll actually help instead of just knock me out. That's good. She also said I need group therapy. Other vets dealing with the same stuff. Twice a week. Here in Reno. Jack did the math. 2 drives a week. 4 hours round trip. Lost work time. Gas money. We'll make it work. Jack, I can't ask. You're not asking. I'm telling you. You need this, so we make it work. Derek looked at him. Why do you keep doing this? Because someone should have done it for me. When I came back broken. When my marriage fell apart. When my daughter stopped talking to me. Nobody stepped up. Nobody helped. I don't want to be that nobody for you. You're a better man than you think you are. I'm trying to be. That's all any of us can do. On the drive back, Derek's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Listened. His face went pale. How much? I understand. He hung up. What? Jack asked. That was my probation officer. They're implementing a new policy. All probationers have to pay monthly supervision fees, $250 a month. What they can. Started this week. If I don't pay, they violate me, send me back. That's extortion. That's the system. Jack's hands tightened on the wheel. You got a job lined up. Who's gonna hire a felon with PTSD? I've applied to 30 places. Nobody's called back. Then we create one. The nonprofit. We hire you. To do what? Whatever needs doing. Administrative work, community outreach, helping other families. We make you an employee. Legitimate. On the books. Can we afford that? Honestly, Jack didn't know. The donations had slowed. They were barely covering operational costs. We'll figure it out. But figuring it out was getting harder. That night, Bear called an emergency meeting. Just the original 8 riders. We need to talk numbers, Bear said. He pulled out a spreadsheet. We've raised $18,000 in donations. Sounds good until you look at expenses. House repairs $12,000. Utilities and food for the Williams family is running $800 a month. Derek's probation fees add another $250 monthly. Medical supplies and transportation add another $500. We're burning through money faster than it comes in. So we fundraise more, Tommy said. We've tapped out local donors. The news story brought in a surge, but it's dried up. We need sustainable income. Real revenue streams. Jack looked at the numbers. They were bleeding money. What if we expand, Diego suggested. Help more families. More families means more stories. More stories means more donations. More families also means more expenses, Vince countered. We can barely support 1 family. How do we support 5? We get grants, Jack said. Real ones. Foundation money. Government programs. We've been operating like a startup. Time to operate like a business. None of us know how to write grant proposals, Ray pointed out. Then we learn. Or we hire someone who does. With what money? They sat in silence, the weight of impossible choices pressing down. Finally, Shotgun spoke. What if we ask for help? From other clubs, Iron Riders has chapters across 3 states. Maybe they'd contribute, support one of their own doing good work. Most clubs barely support themselves, Bear said. And half won't help because they think we've gone soft. Bikers helping families doesn't fit the outlaw image. Screw the image, Jack said. This is bigger than image. This is about actually making a difference. If other clubs don't get that, that's their problem. You willing to lose members over this ghost's already talked about leaving? Says this isn't what he signed up for. Jack looked around the table, at men who'd become brothers, who'd sacrificed for strangers because it was right. Anyone who wants out can leave. No judgment, No hard feelings. But I'm seeing this through, with or without the club. Nobody moved. Bear finally nodded. Then we all stay, and we figure this out together. How? Carlos asked. We hustle. We get creative. We make this work because the alternative is watching families fall apart. And I don't know about you, but I can't do that. Not anymore. They spent the next 3 hours brainstorming. Ideas flew. Some good, most desperate. Finally, they had a plan. Not a great plan, but a plan. They'd host a benefit concert, local bands, food vendors, raffle, silent auction, charge admission, aim for $10,000 profit. We've got 6 weeks to pull it off, Bear said. That enough time? Has to be, Jack said. The next morning, Jack approached Derek with an offer. How'd you like a job? Doing what? Community outreach coordinator for Iron Riders Family Services. 20 hours a week, $15 an hour, legit paycheck, tax withholding, the works. Derek stared. Derek, you serious? Dead serious. You know struggle. You know the system. You can connect with families in ways we can't. You're perfect for this. I don't have experience. You have life experience. That's what matters. So you in? Derek's eyes filled. Yeah, I'm in. Good. You start Monday. First assignment, help us organize this benefit concert. Over the next 6 weeks, Derek threw himself into the work, made calls, lined up bands, secured venues, connected with local businesses for donations. He was good at it, natural, like he'd finally found something he was meant to do. Shauna watched her husband transform. The anger faded, the shame lifted. He was present, engaged, healing. He's different, she told Jack one evening. Really different this time. People can change, when they have reasons to. You gave him those reasons. All of you did. We just showed up. He did the work. Marcus was thriving too. Back in school, making friends. His teacher called to say he was excelling. Top of his class in reading. Leia started talking more. Full sentences. She drew pictures of her family, now including 8 bikers with motorcycles. We're in her family portrait, Bear said, staring at the drawing. How about that? Kid knows who showed up, Vince said. Yeah, she does. The benefit concert planning consumed everyone. Permits, insurance, logistics, marketing. 2 weeks before the event, disaster struck. The venue canceled. Pipes burst, flooded, unusable. We're screwed, Tommy said. Every other venue is booked. Then we find an alternative, Jack said. Like what we need space for 500 people. Food vendors, parking, stage equipment. Jack thought about it. The old fairgrounds, outside Carson City. Been abandoned for years, but the structures are still there. That place is condemned. Condemned means nobody's using it. Nobody using it means nobody can tell us no. Jack, we can't just watch us. They drove out that afternoon. The fairgrounds were rough, overgrown, but the main pavilion was solid. The grounds were huge. This could work, Bear said slowly. Could it will work. We clean it up, make it safe, turn it into something. That's trespassing. Not if we get permission. The fairgrounds were county property. Jack made an appointment with the county commissioner. Commissioner Walsh was 60, skeptical, tired. Let me get this straight. You want to use condemned property for a concert? Yes, sir. Why would I allow that? Because it's for charity, supporting families in crisis, and because that property's been sitting empty for 8 years doing nothing. Let us use it. If we clean it up, county benefits. If we don't, nothing changes. Walsh studied him. You're the biker from the news, the one helping that family. Yes, sir. My daughter saw that story, cried, said it restored her faith in humanity. Walsh smiled. She's 23, thinks she knows everything, but maybe she's right about this. So we can use it. You can use it, but you're responsible for cleanup insurance and making sure nobody gets hurt. Deal. Deal. They had a venue. The next 2 weeks were chaos. Volunteers appeared from everywhere. People who'd seen the news story. People who wanted to help. They cleaned the fairgrounds, rebuilt stages, set up vendors, hung lights. Marcus and Leia helped, picking up trash, painting signs, being part of something bigger than themselves. "This is because of you," Jack told Marcus one afternoon. "What is all of this? You ran to the highway. You asked for help. That started everything. None of this happens without your courage." Marcus looked around at hundreds of people working. "I just wanted my mom to be okay. And now she is. And now we're helping other families be okay too. That's your legacy, kid." "What's a legacy?" "It's what you leave behind, what you make possible. You made all this possible." Marcus smiled. "Cool." The night before the concert, Jack couldn't sleep. Too much riding on tomorrow. Too much that could go wrong. Shauna found him outside at 2 a.m. "Nervous?" she asked. "Terrified." "About what?" "About failing. About letting people down. About all this work being for nothing." Shauna sat next to him. "You know what I've learned watching you these past 3 months?" "What?" "That success isn't about perfection. It's about showing up. You showed up when nobody else did. That's success. Everything else is just details. Those details matter. If we don't raise enough money, then we try again. But we've already won, Jack. My family's together. My husband's healing. My kids are thriving. Other families are getting help. That's winning. Money's just how we keep score." Jack looked at this woman who'd been through hell and came out stronger. "How are you so wise? Poverty teaches you what matters and what doesn't. Money matters, but love matters more. Purpose matters more. You gave us both. We just helped. You saved us. Don't minimize that." Concert day arrived with perfect weather. By noon, people were lining up. By 2, the fairgrounds were packed. By 4, they'd hit capacity. 500 people became 800, became 1,000. Bands played. Food vendors sold out. The raffle raised 3,000 alone. Marcus stood on stage between songs, microphone in hand, nervous. "Hi, I'm Marcus Williams. 3 months ago, my mom wouldn't wake up. I was 7 and scared and I didn't know what to do. So I ran to the highway and I asked bikers for help. And they helped. They stayed. They saved us. And now they're saving other families too. So thank you for being here. Thank you for helping. Thank you for showing up." The crowd erupted. Jack watched from the side of the stage, tears streaming down his face. Bear stood next to him. "We did it, brother. We did." "So why are you crying?" "Because for the first time in 3 years, I did something that mattered. Really mattered. And I forgot what that felt like." "Feels good, doesn't it?" "Yeah, it does." By the end of the night, they'd raised $23,000. More than enough to sustain operations for 6 months. More than enough to help 5 more families. More than enough to prove Iron Riders Family Services was real. Derek found Jack after the concert. "I've been sober 91 days. "That's good. It's more than good. It's a miracle. You gave me a reason to stay sober. Work, purpose, family. Thank you. You did the work. I just gave you a chance." "Chances matter. Not everyone gets them." They shook hands. Brothers now. Not by blood, by choice. Shauna gathered everyone, the 8 riders, Derek, Marcus, Leia, for a photo. "We're family now," she said. "All of us. This photo proves it." They crowded together, smiling, exhausted, victorious. The photographer counted down. 3, 2, 1, flash. That photo would hang in the nonprofit office for years. Reminder of where they started, what they built, who they saved. But the real victory wasn't the money raised or the families helped or the publicity gained. The real victory was 8 broken men finding redemption by helping one broken family heal. And discovering in the process that broken didn't mean worthless. Sometimes broken meant ready to be rebuilt into something stronger. The ride home that night felt different. Not like the end of something, like the beginning. Jack pulled up to the house, the Williams house, but also somehow his house now too, and killed his engine. Marcus was already asleep in the truck. Leia in Shauna's arms. Derek walking next to the bikes. They'd started as strangers on a highway. Now they were something else, something better, family. Not perfect, not easy, but real. And real was enough. Jack carried Marcus inside, tucked him into bed. "We did it, Jack," Marcus mumbled half asleep. "Yeah, kid, we did. Don't leave, okay? Not going anywhere. Promise." Jack thought about all the promises he'd made and broken, all the times he'd failed, all the ways he'd let people down. But looking at this kid, this brave, resilient, incredible kid, he knew this was one promise he'd keep. "I promise." Marcus smiled and drifted off. Jack stood in the doorway for a long time, watching this child breathe, grateful for the chance to be someone worth believing in. Outside, the other riders were preparing to leave. "Same time next week?" Bear asked. "Same time next week," Jack confirmed. Because the work wasn't done, would never be done. There would always be more families, more struggles, more chances to show up. And Iron Riders would be there. Not because they were heroes, but because they'd learned something on a highway 3 months ago when a barefoot boy asked for help. They learned that showing up mattered, that broken people could fix broken things, that redemption wasn't about erasing the past. It was about building a better future. One family at a time. One day at a time. One promise kept at a time. 6 months after the concert, Jack got the call that would test everything they'd built. Jack Thompson. The voice was young, female, shaking, speaking. "My name's Amy Chen. I saw your story on the news about helping families. I need help, please. They're going to take my son tomorrow and I don't know what to do." Jack pulled over. "Slow down. Tell me what's happening." "I'm a single mom. My ex-husband's suing for full custody. I can't afford a lawyer. The court date's tomorrow. If I lose my son forever." "Where are you located?" "Sparks, just outside Reno. 2 hours away." "What time's your court date?" 9 a.m. Jack looked at his watch. 6 p.m. Not much time. "Give me your address. I'll be there in 2 hours." "Really, you'll help?" "That's what we do." He called Bear, then Vince, then the others. By 7 p.m., 5 bikers were rolling toward Sparks. Amy Chen lived in a 1-bedroom apartment that looked like it had seen better days. She was 26, exhausted, terrified. Her son Tyler was 4, playing with trucks on the floor, oblivious to the war being fought over him. "Tell us everything," Jack said. Amy's story poured out. Abusive marriage, escape with her son, divorce, her ex-husband remarried money. Now he wanted Tyler back. Not because he loved him, because his new wife wanted kids and couldn't have them. "He hasn't seen Tyler in 18 months, Amy said. "Paid 0 child support, but now he's got lawyers. Good ones. And I've got nothing." "You got us," Jack said. "What's your ex-husband's name?" "Richard Chen. He's a financial analyst, makes 6 figures, lives in a house I could never afford. The judge will take 1 look at my apartment and give him custody." "Not if we have anything to say about it." Bear looked around. "When's the last time you ate?" "I don't know." "Yesterday, day before Vince went to the kitchen. Found crackers and peanut butter. That was it. Jack, she's got no food. Heat's barely working. This place is falling apart. Then we fix it. Fast. Carlos Diego hit the store. Food, space heaters, whatever she needs. Ray shotgun check the heat. See if we can get it working. Tommy calls Sarah. We need legal advice, now." They scattered. Amy watched in disbelief. "Why are you doing this? You don't even know me." "We know you need help. That's enough." Within 2 hours, her apartment was transformed. Food stocked. Heat fixed, lights replaced. Tyler fed and happy. Sarah, Jack's lawyer friend, showed up at 10 p.m. "You called in a favor for a custody case." "She's got nobody else." Sarah interviewed Amy, reviewed documents. Her face grew darker with each page. This is bad. Your ex has 3 lawyers. Character witnesses. Financial statements proving he can provide better. You have none of that. So what do I do? Amy's voice broke. You fight. You show the judge you're a good mother. That Tyler's happy, healthy, loved, and you pray it's enough. It won't be. He's got everything. I've got nothing. Jack stepped forward. You've got Iron Riders Family Services backing you, official nonprofit. We'll testify to your character, document your fitness as a parent, provide financial support affidavits, make them work for it. Sarah raised an eyebrow. That might actually help if we position IRFS as a support system proving she's not alone, that she has resources. We do that, Jack said. They worked through the night, prepared testimony, documented everything, built a case. At 5 a.m., Amy fell asleep on her couch. Tyler curled up next to her. Jack watched them, reminded him of Shauna and Marcus that first night. We can't save everyone, Bear said quietly. We can try. And when we fail, then we try again. The courthouse at 8:30 a.m. was intimidating. Marble, authority, the weight of judgment. Richard Chen arrived in a Mercedes, suit worth more than Amy's rent, 3 lawyers flanking him, new wife on his arm looking like she stepped out of a magazine. He saw Amy and smirked, saw Jack and the bikers and his smirk faded. Who are they? Richard asked his lead lawyer. Iron Riders Family Services. They're backing her. A motorcycle club and family court. That'll hurt her case, not help it. But inside the courtroom, things shifted. The judge, Maria Santos, 50-something no-nonsense, looked at the packed gallery. 8 bikers, Sarah, Derek, and Shauna Williams as character witnesses. Richard's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we request the spectators be removed. This is a private family matter. Denied. This is open court. Everyone has a right to observe. Small victory. Richard testified first. Painted himself as the victim. Said Amy kidnapped his son, denied visitation, turned Tyler against him. All lies. Amy's hands shook, listening to him. Then came character witnesses for Richard, business partners, friends, his new wife, all saying the same thing. Richard was stable, successful, ready to provide. Amy's lawyer, a public defender who looked barely out of law school, tried to cross-examine. Failed. Outmatched. Then it was Amy's turn. She testified through tears, talked about abuse, about protecting Tyler, about building a life from nothing. Richard's lawyer tore her apart. You're unemployed, correct? I work part-time as a waitress, making minimum wage. Yes. You live in government-subsidized housing. Yes. You receive food stamps. Yes. And you think that's the environment a child should grow up in? Poverty, instability. Amy's voice was barely a whisper. I love my son. Love doesn't pay for food, doesn't provide stability. My client can offer Tyler private school, healthcare, opportunities you never could. Why are you being selfish enough to deny him that? Amy broke down. The public defender stood. Your Honor, I'd like to call Jack Thompson to the stand. Richard's lawyers objected. Overruled. Jack took the stand, swore to tell the truth. Mr. Thompson, what's your relationship to Amy Chen? Iron Riders Family Services provides support to her family, financial assistance, resources, community. You've known her less than 24 hours, correct? Yes. So how can you possibly testify to her fitness as a mother? Because in 24 hours, I watched her choose her son over everything. I watched her starve herself to make sure he ate. I watched her hold him while he slept and cry because she was so scared of losing him. I've seen rich parents. I've seen poor parents. And I can tell you money doesn't make you a good parent. Love does. Sacrifice does. Showing up does. Amy Chen shows up every single day for her son. That's what matters. Richard's lawyer stood. Mr. Thompson, you're a convicted felon, aren't you? Jack's jaw clenched. I served time, yes. For assault with a deadly weapon. I was defending someone. Charges were reduced. But you're still a felon, leading a motorcycle club, and you think you're qualified to judge parental fitness. I think I'm qualified to recognize love when I see it, and I see it in Amy. I didn't see it once in Richard. Not once. He testified for 30 minutes and never mentioned loving his son, just what he could provide. Money. Things. But nothing about love. The judge's expression shifted. Interested now. Derek Williams was called next. Mr. Williams, you work for Iron Riders Family Services. Yes, ma'am. Tell the court your story. Derek did. Everything. His failures. His arrest. His redemption. How Jack and the bikers saved his family when nobody else would. We were exactly where Amy is now, Derek said. Broke. Scared. System trying to tear us apart. These men stopped it. Not because they had money, because they cared, because they showed up. That's what Amy needs. People who show up. And now she has that. Richard's lawyer tried to discredit him. You're an ex-convict employed by a non-profit run by bikers. You're hardly a credible witness. Maybe not by your standards, but I know what it's like to lose everything and fight to get it back. I know what good people look like. And Amy's good people. Your client, I watched him testify. He's playing a role. She's living reality. Shauna Williams testified. Talked about watching Amy with Tyler. About recognizing a mother's love. About knowing what real parenting looked like versus performance. By lunch, the momentum had shifted. The judge called a recess. In the hallway, Richard cornered Amy. You think your biker friends impress me? You're still poor, still pathetic, still not good enough for my son. He's not your son. You abandoned him. I'm taking him. Today. And there's nothing you can do about it. Jack stepped between them. You're done talking to her, Richard sneered. You going to hit me in a courthouse? Perfect. Prove you're all violent thugs. Don't need to hit you. Need to make sure you stay away from her. You can't touch me. I've got lawyers, money, power. What do you have? Used motorcycles and good intentions. We have something you don't. People who actually care. That's worth more than your Mercedes. Richard laughed. We'll see. Judge is going to rule in my favor. I guarantee it. Nothing's guaranteed, especially not you deserving that kid. After lunch, the judge returned. I've reviewed all testimony, examined the evidence, and I'm ready to rule. Amy gripped Jack's hand, squeezed so hard it hurt. Mr. Chen, you have resources. Financial stability, a two-parent home. On paper, you offer advantages. Richard smiled. However, Judge Santos continued, this court's primary concern is the welfare of the child. Not material provision, not financial status, welfare. And in observing Tyler Chen, noting his attachment to his mother, reviewing the documented abuse during the marriage, and considering the testimony of multiple witnesses about Ms. Chen's dedication, I'm ruling in favor of the mother. Amy gasped. Richard stood. Your Honor, that's ridiculous. She's poor. She can barely feed him. Mr. Chen, you will sit down. Your pattern of disparaging the mother, your admission of 18 months without contact, and your focus on material provision rather than emotional needs have shown this court your priorities. Material wealth does not equate to parental fitness. This is a mistake. What's a mistake is you thinking money entitles you to a child you haven't seen in over a year. Full custody remains with Ms. Chen. Visitation for you will be supervised. Monthly. Pending evaluation. This case is closed. The gavel fell. Amy collapsed, crying. Happy tears this time. Tyler didn't understand, but he hugged his mom anyway. Richard stormed out, lawyers scrambling after him. In the parking lot, Jack found Amy sitting on a bench, still crying. You okay? I can't believe it. I thought for sure. You thought love didn't matter as much as money. But it does. It did. Because of you. Because you showed up. We just testified. You did the hard part. Being a good mom every day. That's what won. Amy looked at the bikers loading their motorcycles. How do I repay you? You don't. You raise your son. You love him. You give him the life Richard never could. That's payment enough. Will you help other families like mine? Like yours? That's the plan. Then I want to help. Volunteer, whatever you need. You saved me. Let me save someone else. Jack smiled. Deal. The ride home felt victorious. Another family saved. Another fight won. But Jack knew the war was never over. There would always be more families, more struggles, more Richards with money and lawyers, and Iron Riders would be there. 2 weeks later, the nonprofit office opened. Real office. Donated space above a coffee shop in Carson City. Derek ran daily operations. Amy volunteered 3 days a week. Shauna handled intake calls. They'd helped 14 families so far, kept 3 kids out of foster care, prevented 2 evictions, got 5 people into mental health treatment. Small victories, but victories nonetheless. Marcus was 9 now, growing, confident. He volunteered at the office after school, filed papers, answered phones, took his role seriously. You know what I want to be when I grow up? He asked Jack one afternoon. What? A social worker, so I can help families like you helped us. Jack's chest tightened. That's a good goal. Will you teach me how to help people? Kid, you're already helping, just by being here, by showing other kids they can survive hard things. Is it always going to be hard? Probably, but hard doesn't mean impossible. And you're proof of that. Marcus hugged him. Still did that, probably always would. Leia was 7, smart, artistic, drew pictures of families constantly, happy families, together families. She gave one to Jack. This is us. In the drawing, 8 bikers stood with the Williams family. Motorcycles in the background. Everyone smiling. This is perfect, Jack said. We're family, right? Yes, sweetheart, we're family. Forever. Forever. Derek completed his probation 6 months early. Good behavior. Consistent compliance. He'd been sober 14 months. Had a full-time job now with IRFS. Was talking about going back to school for social work. Never thought I'd be here, Derek told Jack one evening. Stable, happy, useful. Thought I'd die in prison or drunk in a ditch. What changed? You gave me a reason not to. Work, purpose, family. Turns out that's all anyone needs. You did the work, though. We just gave you a chance. Chances matter. Not everyone gets them. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure more people get chances. That's a good life plan. Learned from the best. Shauna's diabetes was managed now. A1C levels stable, energy back. She'd gotten a job at the library, part-time, flexible hours. But it was hers. First paycheck in 3 years that wasn't government assistance, she told Jack. I cried when I saw it. Not because of the amount, because of what it meant. I'm not helpless anymore. I'm not just surviving. I'm living. You were always living. You just needed support. You gave us more than support. You gave us hope. That's rarer than you think. The Iron Riders were different now, too. They'd lost 3 members. Ghost left. Said this wasn't real biker life. 2 others followed. But they'd gained 4 new members. People who believed in the mission. Who wanted to ride and help? Not one or the other. Both. The club wasn't outlaws anymore. They were something new. Something better. Bear summed it up one night over beers. We used to ride to forget. Now we ride to remember. Remember why we matter. What we can do. Who we can save. You miss the old days? Jack asked. Sometimes. The freedom. The lack of responsibility. But then I think about Marcus and Leia. About Amy and Tyler. About all the families we've helped. And I realize the old days were empty. We were just filling time until we died. Now we're filling time with meaning. That's worth more than freedom. Yeah, it is. 1 year after Jack found Marcus on Highway 50, they held an anniversary celebration. Small event. Just the families they'd helped. Volunteers, donors, people who believed. Marcus stood on a small stage, microphone in hand. Older now. More confident. 1 year ago I ran to a highway. I was barefoot and scared, and I asked strangers for help. And they helped. They stayed. They changed everything. Not just for my family. For 14 other families. For hundreds of people, because they showed up. He looked at Jack. Jack says showing up is what matters. That broken people can fix broken things. That redemption isn't about forgetting the past. It's about building a better future. I believe that now, because I've seen it, lived it. So thank you, all of you, for showing up, for staying, for proving that people still care. The room erupted. Jack didn't trust himself to speak. Let others talk. Let them share stories. He just listened. But at the end of the night, Marcus found him. You okay? Yeah, kid. Just thinking. About what? About how different life is from a year ago. How much better. You saved us. We saved each other. Marcus hugged him. I love you, Jack. You know that, right? I know. I love you too. Are you ever going to find your daughter, the one you told me about? Jack had thought about it, wondered, but he hadn't reached out. Wasn't sure he had the right. Maybe someday. She should know what you've done, who you are now. You're a good person. She should know that. Maybe. Do it, Jack. Show her. Like you showed me. That night, Jack sat in his apartment, small, cheap, but his, and pulled out his phone. Found his daughter's number, still saved after 3 years. Typed a message, deleted it. Typed another, deleted that too. Finally settled on, Hi Emma, it's Dad. I know it's been 3 years. I don't expect anything. But I wanted you to know I'm different now. Better. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Love always, Dad. He hit send before he could change his mind. Waited. No response. He went to bed. Tried not to hope. At 3 a.m. his phone buzzed. Hi, Dad. I saw the news story about you. About what you did for that family. I've been thinking about reaching out. Maybe we could meet coffee. Jack stared at the message. Read it 10 times. Typed, I'd like that, whenever you're ready. Next Saturday, 2 p.m. I'll be there. He set the phone down. Cried. Proper cried. 3 years of regret and hope and fear pouring out. Maybe redemption wasn't just about saving others. Maybe it was about saving yourself too. Saturday came. Coffee shop in Carson City. Jack arrived 30 minutes early, nervous like a kid. Emma walked in. 15 now. Looked so much older than he remembered. She saw him. Hesitated. Then approached. They sat down. Awkward silence. You look different, she said finally. I am different. How? He told her. Everything. The kid on the highway. The family. The nonprofit. The work. The purpose. She listened without interrupting. Why? She asked when he finished. Why them? Why not us? Because I failed you, Emma. Failed you and your mom. Couldn't be the father you needed. Couldn't be the husband she needed. So I lost you both. And I've carried that for 3 years. When Marcus asked for help, I couldn't say no. Because maybe if I helped him, someone somewhere would help you if you needed it. That's messed up logic, Dad. I know. But it's also kind of beautiful. They talked for 2 hours. About school, about her life, about his. She didn't forgive him. Not yet. But she listened, and agreed to meet again next month. It was a start. Walking out. Emma paused. Dad. Yeah? I'm proud of you. For what you're doing. For trying to be better. Thank you. That means everything. Don't screw it up this time. I won't. I promise. She smiled. You better not. Because I'm going to hold you to it. Jack watched her leave. Felt hope blooming in his chest. Maybe broken families could heal. Maybe lost children could be found. Maybe redemption was possible after all. That night, the Iron Riders gathered at the Williams house. Weekly tradition now. Dinner, laughter, family. Derek grilled. Shauna made sides. Kids played in the yard. Bikers told stories. Normal, beautiful, earned. Jack stood on the porch watching it all. Bear joined him. Hell of a year. Yeah, it was. You think we can keep this going? We have to. Too many families need help. What about you? You okay? Better than I've been in years. Emma wants to see me again next month. We're talking. Actually, talking. That's good, brother. Real good. Yeah, it is. They stood in comfortable silence. Brothers, friends, family. You ever regret it? Bear asked. Selling your bike, giving up your old life. All the sacrifice. Jack thought about it. About everything they'd given up. Everything they'd gained. Not for a second. Me neither. Inside, Marcus called out. Jack, Bear, dinner's ready. They walked inside. Into warmth. Into noise. Into a family they'd built from nothing. And Jack Thompson, ex-Marine, ex-husband, ex-failure, realized he'd finally found what he'd been searching for his whole life. Not perfection, not redemption from his past, but purpose in his present. And that was enough, more than enough. 1 year ago, a barefoot boy had stopped him on a highway and asked for help. And in helping that boy, Jack had helped himself, had helped 8 broken bikers find meaning, had helped 14 families stay together, had helped prove that broken people could fix broken things, that love mattered more than money, that showing up mattered more than being perfect, that family wasn't always blood. Sometimes it was leather vests and motorcycles and strangers who became brothers. Sometimes it was a choice to care when nobody else would. Sometimes it was running toward pain instead of away from it. Marcus was right that first night when Jack promised to stay. They hadn't saved Marcus's family. Marcus's family had saved them, given them purpose, meaning, hope. And now they'd spend the rest of their lives passing that forward, one family at a time, one day at a time, one promise kept at a time. Because Iron Riders had learned what really mattered, not the roar of engines or the freedom of the open road, but the quiet power of showing up when someone needed you most. That was the real ride. That was the real brotherhood. That was redemption. And it started with 3 simple words a terrified child had screamed on a desert highway. Follow me home. They'd followed. They'd stayed. And they'd never stop.